Cool. Welcome back to Made by J&D. It's kind of tough to get camera angles in here because the motor is right there and the floorboards are right here and I'm in a hole in the floor. Still, I think you should be able to see what I'm trying to get to. In the last episode, I attached this shift cable to the transmission and I reversed the bracket on there because I've got to have a reverse pull. If I didn't, the shift lever here on the bottom of the column, the column shift thing, it would have had the cable coming straight down to work that way, and that's just in the middle of the floor. That's the way it was in the motorhome. You know, all this was from here forward. The bulkhead on the motorhome was here, and this was inside the cab. This was outside, just outside the bulkhead, and this cable was just routed like it could be. Anyway, that's why I had to reverse the bracketry on the transmission, because this has to now come in from behind. I've made it so that now it'll come up through here somewhere. I was thinking at one point that this wasn't going to work, that I wasn't going to have enough room between this bulkhead and the front of the cab. But I've got quite a bit of room to work with. This is the bulkhead. Got about 4 inches of room. So I've got from here to there and then 4 inches on the other side for this cable to actually maneuver around and to get to a position where it can come out of the bulkhead and to this end here connected to the bottom of the column. It uses, this was on the kind of a two-piece thing. This was bolted onto the column here, and you can see that that's a pretty good fit, so I'm just going to reuse that. So whatever I do, I've been, you know, when I try to steer this, me just doing this little bit of motion, you can see the whole column wants to go side to side. I'm going to have to build this different, this bracket, to have a brace coming from the side as well as to the bulkhead. And that should brace it. Let's just see where this cable has to come out of the bulkhead. Well, there's my cable. And here's my objective, which is this piece will be threaded into this hole. That's got something I can't really, let's use this straight edge. Maneuver it around behind underneath the brake pedal and kind of just put it on this piece. That's a straight throw to about here. You can see I've made a mark. So this cable has to come up around inside behind that bulkhead, on the other side of this bulkhead, and it's got to come out here. And I've got to try to use this here somehow, because this black plastic piece, it's meant to give me something to push and pull against. Right now the cable is just slick, there's nothing to hold on to. I've got no bracket, so I'll have to make something, but that'll be, I don't know, I've got to make the hole first and then find out how to make this bracket that holds this. So if I've got this done right, that is straight forward. I'm in neutral. I need to drill right here. Now I've gone online to check what size grommets I can get because the bulkhead's full of holes. I want to be plugging them at some point. And what I want to do here is make sure I can, what I want to do here is make sure that any hole that I drill, I can find a grommet for. That can be a gland. I can seal around this stainless steel bit. So let's go. This will be in 1 inch. I'm going to drill a 1 inch hole. Jeez, such a ginormous cab and it's so crowded in here. I need to route this outside of the pitman arm. What am I hitting back? Oh, screws and stuff from the headlights and whatever. I think there's enough flex in this cable. Yeah, that'll do. That 11-foot cable is just right. There we go, that's better. I must have done something wrong because this is working a lot better than I could have hoped. I've modified I'm making modifications to this bracket. I'll just weld on a tab. There was an existing hole. I just put a nut cert in there. This is the existing part, other half of the bracket. So that'll support the column. I still have to have a rod go from here over to the sidewall. But the shift cable is going to work just fine. This part is proving to be a real challenge. I wish I knew what this bracket's supposed to look like. I got this from another part of the fire truck, but it's the right size. It's a channel iron that's roughly 1 3/4 by 2 inch deep. Cut a piece of it off. This little tiny bracket right here. And getting that hole the right size is, I just want it to be very good fitting, but polished as well, because this is only plastic. And I didn't want that plastic piece to wear out or get shocked or broken or whatever. And it's roughly 46 degrees that it comes out of comes off the steering column. But yeah, I think that's about it. I just got to make a mark in there. The original nut cert that used to hold this on, I'm now using underneath here. It's hidden. And so it's holding this bracket on. I've got to weld that little piece in there. And then I'll have another piece that's not welded. It's got to come out so that I can take this out. And I don't know whether that's going to go across or straight up to the top. I'll need another bolt up here to hold this bracket. So it might just have a piece that comes down and clamps down on top of it. I think I've got no hope of not blocking the camera here, but these are the little bracket I made. And it's a bit of a real nightmare to make this because I don't know what it's supposed to look like. I don't know what they used, I don't know what was made like. I made this bracket to suit a hole that I'd already had drilled down here, and then I drilled another one up here. I don't know. I think it's a pretty good solution. The best way would have been to have these two bolts straight across each other here, but there's just not enough meat on this little bracket. It would probably have bent. It just would have been too weak. So I put them up forward. It should work all right. I'm using nylox on the back. I suppose there could have been ways to secure this, differently without using that plastic thing, but because the steering column, the shifter down here, goes in an arc, the end of it has to be able to swing. And I think not tight yet. And in order to keep that able to swing, I had to make it, whatever I used allowed this here to swing in and out this way. All right, let's see if it shifts. I'm in neutral, and it swings. So it does as designed. That's park, reverse, reverse, neutral, drive, second. Oh, well, that's wrong. That should be park, reverse, neutral. It's hitting on the side here, looks like. I didn't allow it enough space to move. Maybe I can just take I think maybe I can take a little burr and just make that hole slightly larger around. Well, I can't do that because I've made that to fit a certain size grommet. I've cut slots. I've slotted these holes just a little bit. I moved this over maybe 1/8 of an inch. And that's enough now. So that's in park. That's reverse, neutral, drive, second, first. And that's all it took to make it work. Cool. So the last thing I need to work out then is the steering column still moves. Look at this, how much it moves side to side. I'm going to brace this bracket to this bracket just over the top here. And that'll be better than having introduce some new bracket to the side of the bulkhead over there. I made this bracket here, a couple of pieces of scrap angle iron. Ties onto a bolt that goes to the end of the brake rod that goes across. It's loose now, I've got the bolt out. I'll stick this bolt in here for now. That should do it. Man, it still moves around. Holy cow. I have to rethink that altogether. It's moving the whole darn bracket. Yeah, it's better than it was. Besides, I'm not moving it with the power steering unit attached yet either, so I might have to revamp it later on, but for now this will do. For my next trick, throttle cable. Thanks for sticking with me so far. If you've enjoyed this, please give me a thumbs up, maybe subscribe, and I'll see you next time.